Hello. Hi. Come on in. Yeah. You open the door, you step over the threshold. I'm inviting you in. If you're a vampire, don't bite because I bite more. But you're welcome to come on in. Come set a spell with me. Did you bring a beverage? I got my coffee and it says, nope, not adulting today. I woke up this morning and I'm like, this is going to be one of those days, so don't plan on doing much of anything. I don't like it when I get up in the morning and right off the bat, I'm feeling a little off. Um, I never realized I was so fragile when it came to my pets because I've gone through 14. I've helped 14 of them pass. Um, yeah, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But as you may have heard me say before in one of my previous videos, if you watched it, I've had pets. I grew up with animals in the house. So from the time I was like 10 years old, we had an animal. Immediately, even when I moved out into my first apartment, I had an animal. So my entire life, for more than, let's just say, 60 plus years, I have always had a pet in the house. This is the first time ever in all those years that the house has been without a four-legger or a bird or even a fish tank. Nothing. The quiet is deafening. It's deafening. Who's going to lick the leftovers on my plate? I'm a good cook. You want to come do that and be my pre-rinse cycle? Who's going to, it's, you get used to certain routines and then all of a sudden your whole routine is thrown off the mark. It takes some adjusting. I still have not adjusted to this. Everything is off. Even my sleep schedule is off. My routines of doing this or that before I go to bed or doing this or that first thing in the morning, my routines are off. And I'm trying, as you can tell, I'm trying to make light of it. Um, you're never too old for firsts. You're never too old to start over. Because what I've discovered is when you start over, you're carrying your life lessons with you. Things that you've learned, things that you experience are there this time that were not there before. So I am starting over with knowledge and a better understanding and more patience for myself and more self-care. I'm not beating myself up over certain things like I used to do. It's just, you know what? I'm not carrying guilt with me forward into a new beginning. I'm carrying optimism and hope and just self-taught education, life lessons. So I'm starting over. And we're going to start over this video with not one, but two small Temu orders, because I did promise you Temu, and then two small orders from Whatnot Shops. Hopefully, I'm going to time this out. Hopefully, I can get this all done in an hour. I did want to give you a little bit of just around the corner stuff, but we'll do what we can do, right? All right, let's get into Temu. I've got one, two, see if I can do this without dropping them on the floor. Three, four of those items. What are they, you ask? I will tell you. One of them I opened because I had to see for myself. Now, these were $5.30 for two of them. So I paid $5.30 and $5.30. But I got fully refunded, guys. Y'all know why, right? Yep. My hair is shedding. Customs strikes again. This one sat in customs for 24 days. So by the time it got to me, it was beyond the 30-day mark. And yes, Temu had refunded me $5 or credited me $5 when it didn't arrive by its scheduled delivery date. Wow, this is wrapped up tight. I can't even cut through this. Holy cow. And then when it hit that 30-day mark, Temu refunded me. I got to get root with this. Refunded me in full for the order. So again, massive credits sitting at Temu. All right, let me show you what these are. I'm just going to struggle to open this one because all the rest are exactly the same. Wow. Okay, I will say, now this did not come from local. This was direct ship, but holy cow, were these packed good because they're all like this. You know, you're like, get it open. I can't grab Charlie. Unfortunately, Charlie is barricaded right now. These are hose guides. Nice, long, solid spikes, and they're built in. They're not separate. Each of these hose guides, let me put these down, they spin. Tops and bottoms spin. You put this in the ground, and you go all the way down to maybe about an inch above ground, just enough so that this bottom one will still spin. You wrap your hose not completely around, but against it, so that what you're doing is you're weaving your hose between the two like a snake. What this does is it keeps your hose, especially for me on the side of the house where I have all the caladiums and the Dark Lord rhododendron coming up, and the hibiscus, quote unquote hibiscus. But what it does is it guides the hose, and it keeps, when you pull the hose to walk further away, it keeps the hose where you want it to be. So I'm always looking back and making sure that my hose is not laying or pulling against any of those very tender young plants. If they were full bushes, it wouldn't phase them any. But these are new growths that are barely 6 inches high. So what this will do, I've got 8 of them because there's 2 in each pack. I also have, well, will have 2 garden hoses coming off a splitter. So I'm going to have garden hoses coming up towards the front stairs and then garden hose going towards the back. The majority of these, probably 6 of these, will line along the house up to the staircase at the front of the house to keep the hose, because it's a heavy duty hose, to keep the hose away from those tender growths. So I'll space them out a certain distance, wrap the hose in between the, wiggle, like snake the hose through them so that it keeps the hose from crushing anything. And it also keeps the hose tidy where the hose is not laying out in the walkway, because right now I just pull it out and run it up the walkway, but I don't want it dragging across the gravel of the walkway because eventually that'll cause damage to the hose. So I got 8 of these, 4 of them for $5.30, fully refunded. Yes, they are just plastic, but it's only the garden hose. All right. And the spinning allows the hose to move through them, but stay where you want to put it. And I think they're very attractive. They're just green. They had other ones that look like U-shape, but it looks like an odd thing sticking up in your garden. These are not going to be as noticeable. And especially as the plants get bigger, they're really not going to be noticeable. Nicely made. And the spike goes all the way through to the top, as you can see. That's the top of the spike. So it's all one piece. We'll see how they work. I'm optimistic. I have seen these in action. I'm moving them out of the way. I have seen these in action, which is why I started looking for it. One of my neighbors actually has something along those lines. All right, so that's the first thing. The next thing in this order, this was $1.69. And of course, I did get refunded for these because they were late. And I'm not keeping these because these were not as described. The measurements and the information that they give in the item is not what I was looking for. I would not have bought them. These are just a cute little pair of string earrings. They've got a little tiny gemstone way up here on the top. They've got the orange string and then the gold background, but they're super itty bitty small. You don't see me wear earrings this small. That's not me. So these are going to go into the giveaway box because I know there are so many of you out there that love shorter earrings. And these are barely an inch, but they're very colorful, very cute. They are very well made. I have no issue with the quality. It's just the size issue for me. Don't go there. All right, on to the next item. This was $2.45, and I don't have any issue with the size of these. This is another pair of earrings. Give me just a second here. These are on posts. And these are just white and gold stone earrings. They look like white quartz. Very cute, very nicely designed. The stones are in there very secure, even if they don't look it. Okay, there's the other earring. I just took it off so that you could see it. These do hang just the right length for me. And believe it or not, I only had one pair of white earrings and those were feathers and they're not appropriate with everything. So I got these. These are really, really nice. I'm very, very happy with these. And again, these are direct ship. These are not local. So I'm going to stick them back in the bag and add them to. Now, these are posts, and you know how I feel about posts. But when I do get out into my shed to start making some changes, I will add these to my pair of earrings that I have to change over to wires. But I'll try them as posts first, and we'll see how heavy they are, because certain earrings are just so heavy, they should never be on a wire. They will damage your ear. And to me, personal opinion, it looks like hell when you see somebody with a wire on and all you do is you see their ear pulling down like that. Your ear should never pull down like that. If it's pulling, you need to have those earrings changed over so that they're posts. And if they're doing that as posts, then you need to get a new pair of earrings or have those modified so that they're lighter. Don't damage your ears just to wear jewelry, guys. Okay, we're into the next bag. These are small orders. $3.70, and this is a pack of 20 pieces. These are stakes or little tacks, not really heavy duty ones, but I don't need them to be. These are ground tacks for when you're putting in landscaping material. You're putting down a landscaping carpet or what most people just refer to as the black tack. So these will hold your your landscaping fabric in place. There's 20 of them. I got these for $3.07. Again, this order was missing for 30 some odd days, so fully refunded. These are for what I'm going to be doing on the other side of the house, not the driveway side. That's done. The other side of the house. As soon as well, let's just say I'm waiting for all those chicken and hens and succulents of various types to be big enough to transplant. Right now, in just a matter of a couple of days, I have sprouts. More than a couple dozen sprouts. They're coming up beautifully in the little greenhouses I made. They're coming up so well that I actually had to remove the cellophane off the top. I removed the cling wrap off the top so that because it was holding them down. Gotta let them come up, let them come to the light, right? All right, so those tacks I've used in the front. I know they're going to work fine. And here it's a very sandy soil. I don't have a lot of rocks to go into, but it is sufficient to hold the tarp down to the ground. That with some of the stones I'm going to put on it will work. All right. This, I don't know why I didn't put the price tag on this. I'll put the price up on the screen for you as to what this was. But again, it was free. This is a 3-pack. Not one, not two, but 3. Can't get them out. Quick charge charging cubes. 3 charging cubes. But it's not just the cubes. It is also, of course, the cords. And they threw in an extra cord. So I've got 3 cubes, 4 cords, which will work great because I have a multi-port charging block that I can use. Again, I know you're all saying, Konnee, what are you going to do with all these chargers? These cords don't hold up well. I wanted to have the built-in USB chargers throughout the house, and unfortunately my budget didn't allow for that electrical convenience. So I want to make sure that I have a cube available for just about every location. So 4 extra cords, 3 cubes, free. But I'll put the price up there that it would have been if it hadn't been late. Oh, this is why, guys. All right, being a USA consumer, this is why I am getting away, further and further away from Temu. I am finding that overall, lower prices, speed of shipping, customer service, refunds, item availability, diversity of items, everything is better at Whatnot shops than it is at Temu. Temu's product, as we all know, their products many, many times are of poor quality. They're garbage. We spend more time trying to fight for refunds, doing returns, and then where's our money? It's become a big issue. I don't know about other countries, but for USA shoppers, I was looking for batteries the other day, AAA batteries. I have a ton, but with all the things you saw me get in the last video, I need to restock my AAA batteries. Not one store, not one vendor at Temu had AAA batteries that were not coming from local. None of them were direct ship. So what I had to do was I had to find the best deal for local and add in that $2.99 shipping. I don't want to have to do that. I would rather use Whatnot shops, find the shops that either have free or reduced shipping, or a shop that I know I'm going to buy more than one item so that initial shipping cost, basically when you break it down per item, turns out to be like pennies. It's all in the total cost. And the total cost, the prices, how high they're going at Temu, the things that I'm getting from the other shops are of a better quality and a lower price with no fuss, no hassle, no nothing. It just doesn't make sense for me to continue to shop at Temu on a regular basis. I do shop at Temu when I have credits to use. And lately I've had a lot of credits. Wait till you see what I have coming that I didn't pay for. I didn't have to pay for it because of the credits. Eventually, the credits will run out. Will I stop shopping Temu then? I don't know. I honestly can't say. It all depends on what's going on. Okay. This is the last item in this order from Temu. This was a value of $10.17. I wrote it on here so I wouldn't forget. It is 39 inches wide by 32, almost 33 feet long. And this is landscaping fabric that I'll be using those spikes for. And this is the fabric, oh my goodness, that will be going on the ground on that side of the house. But I'm not worried about how wide it is, simply because I'm going to be cutting it in an odd shape. Landscaping fabric doesn't have to be thick. Basically, the purpose of landscaping fabric is to block out weeds, to prevent weed growth. But you can prevent weed growth a whole bunch of different ways, guys. One of the easiest ways to prevent weed growth without really spending any money, and I could have done it with all these packages that I have, spray the ground with a grass killer, which I use the Ortho, and I use the one in the black bottle, which is called Ground Clear. It kills everything that it touches within 24 hours. But you don't want to even try to plant in that soil once you've done that. You put down, you do the spray, and then you lay cardboard over the top of where you sprayed. You put your soil on top of the cardboard, and then you either use shallow pots or you just plant in that shallow bed of soil that you've, like the hiccups again, that you've prepared. So you don't necessarily have to use weed cloth. I'm going to use weed cloth because I simply will have to dig into the ground for a few of the things that I plan on planting out there. Most of the things, though, will be well above ground in special containers that I'm not going to tell you about yet. It's a surprise. But as you can tell, I'm gathering my materials. I'm trying to get everything together that I want or need. So I've got the stakes to go through the cloth. I've already got the succulents growing, which is only part of what's going to be planted out there. I've got the nice pea stones already that are going to border that. And that border will also help hold down the cloth. I'm not cutting any holes into the cloth until I get everything on top of it set up. So I'm almost ready, but it probably won't be until spring when I actually plant things out there. It's a new project. I love it. And yes, I will videotape it and take you through that project with me and show you exactly what I'm going to be doing. It is obviously going to be a garden of some sort. And as I said, it's what I call like a waterfall or a flowing garden, where it's not just square, round, oval, whatever. It's going to be all over the place. All right, let's get in to two small shops. Well, not small shops, two small orders. One from a shop we've done before, one from a brand new shop, and something seriously, seriously different. Something that I absolutely had to have. Where do you see this, guys? All right. So this order only has two things in it. It was a small order. This is from Latasha at NVUSDeals. And this was from her show, her live stream was on July 27th. So for me, that's just a few days ago. You're watching this somewhere in the middle of August. So 2 weeks ago, July 27th was the show. I received this on July 30th. It's coming in from Arkansas. Yeah, Arkansas. So it's not all that far away. But the shipping is incredible. She put in the bag another little gaming charm. So this one is going to go into the giveaway bag because it's a little different than the last one. So there'll be a couple of keychain gaming charms in there. I know most of you got nieces, nephews, grandbabies, whatever. I don't have that. I don't have that. And my brother passed away. I don't have a relationship with his son or his son's children. Don't go there. You know what? Sometimes for your own health, for your own well-being, you have to make choices. And that's a choice that I made. All right, let's see what we got here. We have a meeting planner. Hold on, I'm missing something. No, maybe not. Maybe not. I am. I'm missing coffee. My brain isn't working. Okay. Nice meeting planner in a very soft blue. I really don't care. It's got that page elastic so that you can mark your pages with this. It's got a built-in pen holder right there, which is elastic, nicely spiral bound, and it has all your pages marked out for whatever you may need to do. You have your time, your location, who's in attendance, your notes, other comments you might want to make, action items, who brought them up, who did what, next meeting. This is not going to be a meeting planner for me. This is going to be a video planner for me. As you can tell, I have a lot. And I do want to get back to doing the live shows, and I want to get back to doing the live auctions with my jewelry. Just to let you know, I'm going to give you a heads up. This is probably a little surprise for some of you. I am going to be doing a live, and I am going to be auctioning off my current jewelry inventory for my business, Boku Jewelry Designs. I need to clear out that inventory so that I can start creating new inventory and bring new designs out there. So we're going to be doing a live. I'm not sure when. It might not be for another month or so. But that's something that you can look forward to coming down the pike. This is going to be my record for that. This will be where I also keep a list of who bids, what items they got. And this also comes with the little tabs so that I can mark the pages with the date that I did the live or the date that I did the video. I can also mark in here when I do a giveaway box. This is basically going to be for record keeping. So I really, really like that. Very nicely done. It gives all my personal information on the front page that I might decide, emergency contacts, friends and family. I don't necessarily need to put that in there, obviously. Table of contents. In other words, as I label each page, I can write down here and create my own table of contents and then use one of the labels to match up to this. Very, very nicely done. So this sells for $6.98, and I got it at the auction for $3. Great price, great item. She may or may not have more. She gets, when I say she, I mean Latasha. She gets quite a variety of things that come in. Now, she wasn't showing this, but I asked her, do you have any kind of notebooks? Ta-da! So when you go to any show, and I keep stressing this to you guys, and I'm going to keep stressing this to you guys, ask. Don't just sit. I mean, if you want to just sit and watch, I know my clothes are getting big on me. What can I say? If you want to just sit and watch what the presenter is showing you, that's fine. But right off the bat. And first thing I do is I say hi. I come in and go, "Hey lady, how you doing?" Or "Hey Ms. L, how you doing?" And she'll acknowledge me, and then I'll wait maybe a minute or two, see what she's doing. And if she's letting us drive the bus, so to speak, I'll say, "Hey, do you have this? Do you have that? Any chance you have any of these left over or whatever?" I ask. So speak up. Any show worth being at and watching will acknowledge you. All right. This next item, where do you see this? This is also for the jewelry business. Now, y'all know I like big earrings, right? Look at these. Get your jaw off the floor. Yeah, I know, girl. I'm going to take one. I'm just going to hold it up to my ear. You're not seeing things. This is how big these are. Well, y'all know me. I'm not going to wear anything this big. It's just not appropriate for anything that I would do. But when she showed me this, my brain automatically went to what these could be. So if I take off these bottom ones and I create a threesome, or I create a twosome, or I can even do them single. Between the two earrings, I have at least a dozen pair of earrings that I can create. And because of the way that these are made, these are super lightweight. I can add gemstones right there in the middle. I can add some gemstones or a string of gemstones around the edge. I can border this with crystals. I can dress these up. These are featherweights, and they're all just on jump rings in the back. So when I look at earrings, I see what they can be, what they are, what I would wear, all the possibilities. So when I saw how big these were and how light these were, I said, you know what? I told her, run them right off the bat. I saw what I could make for myself and make for you guys. And one of these is big. All right. I want you to see how big one of these is. Look at that. One alone is at least 3 inches high and an inch and a half wide, but it weighs nothing, light as a feather. This is on a hook. If I were to put this in my ear, which I did, it literally drags the ear down. But with up to 3 of them, it doesn't. There are so many possibilities with these guys. So many possibilities. That's what I'm looking at. So if you make jewelry, if you're inventive, and you see something like this, you will see the results of this when I do the jewelry auction. Whatever I create, it might only be 1 or 2 pairs, but whatever I create from these when I'm ready to do the auction, you're going to see the end results of this. So this pair, let me get it back in the sponge foam here. This pair sells, it retails for $12.99. I got it for $4. So that's 25% of the value. But I will turn this into a whole bunch of pairs. And you know what? They won't be expensive. They might only be $1 or $2 a pair. And that's mostly for my time, my work, or any of the gemstones or designs that I add to them. So if this is something that you like, that particular design, and you think you might want to have 1 or 2 of them hanging next to each other, and if I did 2 of them, I would have them offside like that, so that they wouldn't be too long. Who knows? But if you're interested in something like that, just drop me a comment or drop me an email. Let me know, guys. Here's my email. But put a comment down below. What do you see these as? What would you envision wearing these as? Would you put crystals in them? Would you put a pearl in the center? Would you put crystals around them? How many would you string together? Give me your opinion on this. I know what I would do. What would you do? What would you wear? That's what I like to know. What my viewers would like to wear. But again, I'll make the ultimate decision on what I do with them. But I am so happy to have them. So again, this is NVUSDeals that I got those things from. You let me know. Never mind. Never mind. You let me know what you think about the products that I am bringing you from each of these shops. Now, NVUS Deals, as always, she's getting 5 stars. The shipping, the speed, the packaging, lightning. Absolutely lightning. Her communication, again, she's fun. We interact during the show. She's very lighthearted, very laid back, very, very, very personable young lady. And I say that because she is younger than me, but she had decades in the military, so we all know she's not all that young, but she's younger than I am. Her prices, the items, perfect. Her variety, her presentation, perfect. And her whole attitude about how she does this and the way she does this, 5 stars. I'm not changing her rating. She is still a 5-star shop. Okay? Now, let's look at something new. Brand new. You've never seen this store before. This was my first shopping visit to this store as well. And this shop is called CrystalClear. CrystalClear. That give you an idea of what it is? Crystals, stones, metaphysical items, various shapes, various conglomerations. Now, before I show you what I got, I'm going to give you a heads up right off the bat. If you understand the use of crystals, if you like crystals, or maybe you just want to have them because you think they make pretty decor, crystals have a variety of meanings. And as I show you each one of these, I will, instead of spending a gazillion amount of minutes talking about their properties and what they're used for, I'll just put information up here on the screen so that, and I'll let it run for long enough that you can actually see the purpose behind each of these crystals. But as you all know, I'm a very spiritual individual. I have a lot of gifts, I guess you would call them, a lot of abilities when it comes to that area. I have all the clairs, clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudience, all of them. Don't know if it's a blessing or a curse sometimes, but I have it all. And crystals are very important to me. When I moved, my crystals got lost, and I have no idea where they are. They may still be out in the garage, but I am finding that without my crystals, I just am not, I'm not centered. I just don't feel in balance with my environment. So I specifically went on Whatnot looking for crystal shops. This particular shop does not give you a lot of information. They expect you that if you're shopping with them, that you understand crystals, you know what they are, you know what you're used for, you know why you want them. They do have a lot of resellers and retailers that buy from them because they are wholesalers. So their auctions move very quickly. Again, just like JaysJewels, this auction house wastes no time. They will run their auctions no more than, depending on the item and the value of the item, their auctions usually run anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds. Every once in a while, they will run a 20-second auction or maybe a 30-second auction on a really big, expensive item. And when I say expensive, I'm talking like a $300, $400, $500 massive crystal. But they go quickly. They will tell you what the name of the crystal is. They'll identify the crystal for you. They'll show it to you, turn it, close up, whatever, while it's running. That's all the information you get. You need to know your crystals. You need to know what you're looking for. So I did ask in the chat, and they're pretty good. I'd say they're about 80% paying attention to the chat. Sometimes it gets away from them a little bit. If they don't answer you, I just answer the question again because they do rush through it a little bit. So let me show you the first piece. Everything came wrapped beautifully in bubble wrap. I pre-opened it to examine it, but I'm going to go over each crystal with you. This first one is called Carribean Calcite. And I want to show you all the different features of this particular piece. You can see it's got a hollow spot that goes deep inside of it. This is called Carribean Calcite. And over here, I'm putting up the properties of it, what it's used for. Actually beautiful. This is a small sphere, a small tower. It has been cut on the top into a peak, and this is for the energy flow, right? But I love the natural state on this, that it also has what's called a raw edge. I love that raw edge. I was looking for a lot of raw pieces, and it was hard to find the raw ones. Raw ones are very popular, and raw means not polished. Very, very nice piece, Caribbean Calcite. This size piece, and this is about 6 ounces. This size piece typically sells for about $50 to $60. If you were to go into a crystal shop and look for something this big with a raw edge, that's what you would pay. I got this for $15. Beautiful piece. Absolutely beautiful piece. I'm going to put it down here so it don't risk it getting broken. Now, some people will say, well, where do you put your crystals? Well, typically for me, the majority of my crystals go in the heart of my home. And for me, that's my kitchen because it happens to be right in the middle of my home. That's where they're going to go. And they will go either up on the shelf or they'll go in the windowsill. Crystals and light are fine. You can set them on windowsills. It's great. But you always want your crystals to be where you want your energy to be. And I want my energy in the heart of my home so that it completely disperses through the house. All right, the next piece I'm going to show you, again, beautifully wrapped. Now, they included another piece with this. They gifted me a piece, so I'll show you what they gifted me. They gifted me a piece of Smokey Quartz. And this one is very finely polished. It's a beautiful piece. And by the tips and by looking into, I can tell that this is a genuine Smokey Quartz. It's got all the characteristics of a genuine Smokey Quartz. And again, I'll put up on the screen what the value of the Smokey Quartz is. Now this one may sit on the coffee table with me. I'm going to try to find myself just a cute little, I don't want to say glass container, but I have a seashell that I use when I sage, and I might actually leave that seashell out and put this in it so that it sits. But nice, really nice piece of Smokey Quartz that they gifted me for my order when I bought this. This is Tourmaline with Mica. Tourmaline with Mica. Absolutely beautiful piece. Look at that. Now, something cut like this, and you can see it's raw on the bottom. It's not been polished. But I love all the different colors, the marbling in it, the patterns, the tourmaline with the mica in it. And hopefully you guys are reading all the information I put up on the side screen. But this piece weighs also about 6 ounces. It might weigh 7. It's a little heavier than the last piece. All right. And it's about 4 inches tall. This piece, if you were to go out and buy this piece, you would spend on average about $30 to $40 for this in a crystal shop. These are not cheap. I paid $9.72 for this. So again, I paid about 25% of the MSRP for this. Beautiful piece. Absolutely beautiful. Look at the coloring on the top. Love that piece. Very happy with that. Now, I asked for each of these stones in the chat, right? I watched for a while and then I had a list of the stones that I wanted to get to put in my house for the reasons that I need these crystals in my house, that I need this part of nature in my house. And they showed me everything. All right. And then my last piece that I bought, when I bought this piece, I was gifted 2 other pieces. So a total, they gifted me 3 pieces. But I will show you this one. This is what's called a blue tiger eye. Look at that tiger eye striping. It's called a blue tiger eye because it has hints of different colorings in it. Can you see that? Look at the reflective properties of that. Don't be looking at there. All right. Absolutely gorgeous tiger eye towel. This one weighs about 9, almost 10 ounces. This one is heavy. It's a little bit bigger than the other 2. This one will retail, if you go into a gem store, you're looking at about $75 or $80 for blue tiger eye. Look at that. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. Look at it on the top. It's just beautiful. I paid just under $25, $24.84 for this. And I know that's an odd amount. It's taxes in there. It's basically I think it was $23 before taxes. So definitely worth it. Again, I paid about a quarter, 25% of what its true value is, maybe 30% of what its true value is, but this is absolutely beautiful, well worth having. They only had a couple of them. Look at that. Oh, it even shows more so on this side in this light. This is why I love to have my crystals in light so that I can actually see them. But I chose each of these crystals for their properties. So if you've been looking at the information that I put on the side, then you'll know why I chose them, right? A lot of you who follow me on a regular basis know what I've been going through or what I am going through, where I've been, what's been happening to me with life changes and whatnot. And I've got to find a seamstress. All my clothes are getting big on me. Shh, it's not a complaint. So when I bought that tiger eye, they gifted me these 2 stones. These are septarian palm stones. Septarian palm stones have their own energy values. And I'll put the information up there. But they gifted me not 1, but 2 of these stones. Yeah, these are great quality, the way that they're done. And with a septarian stone, at times, you will find fossils in them. Now, I know it's hard to see, but these spots, these dark brown spots, that's amber. And as we all know, amber is a fossil. So there's a little spot, pretty decent sized spot of amber there. There's a smaller spot of amber on this side. So that, I don't know if I could ever get close enough to try to figure out exactly what it is in there. It may be a spider, it may be a bug of some sort, but that when you see these ambers mixed in with these septarian stones, that's an indication that there's a fossil in the stone. This one, I love the designs on this one. And this is how they naturally come. You've got a couple of dark spots in here. Every stone is a little bit different. Mother Nature does this. All that's ever done with these is they're polished. And septarian stones are typically found near volcanoes simply because it takes so much heat and so much energy to create these. And they are naturally in this shape. All they do is pick them up and polish them. But the earthy qualities that they have, their connection to Mother Earth is very, very powerful. And I was completely surprised when I opened up the box and I found out that I had been gifted these septarium palm stones. Too many words. So that is, it's quite the collection of crystals to restart my crystal collection. Now, these are the bigger, more energy laden crystals. That's what I was searching for. This particular shop, when they first come on, when their auction begins, they have buckets and buckets and buckets of loose stones where literally they take a scoop and they auction off the scoop of stones. It's incredible what they have. They have all different types of stones. They have all different shapes of stones. You can buy them by the scoop if you're a retailer or a reseller or a jewelry maker and you want a particular shape of stone. Like they have a lot of heart stones. They have a lot of the small spherical stones, mini towers, all sorts of different things. Clear quartz, smoky quartz, pink quartz. So many, so many. Some of the stones, I was looking for amethyst. I was looking for amethyst, aquamarine, tourmaline, which I did get the tourmaline with the mica, and the smoky quartz, which they gifted me. I was looking for particular ones. They didn't have any aquamarine or any. I was looking primarily for raw crystals with the amethyst, and they didn't have any raw crystals for the amethyst. So, I always check back to see, and I'll just jump in the chat really quick. Do you have any of this today? Do you have any of that today? If no, I just leave the shop because I know what I'm looking for and I know what's still on my list. So if you are a person who's into crystals, I highly recommend you check out CrystalClear at Whatnot. How many stars am I giving them? I'm giving them 4.5 stars. I'm deducting 1/2 star. Shipping speed. The show was on July 22nd. I got this on July 29th. Allowing them, considering the bulk of the business they do and how heavy their items are, I allowed them 3 days for shipping. So I technically got this in 4 days. So shipping is fine. Packing was impeccably done to make sure these crystals arrived safe. Everything was super wrapped in bubble wrap. Communication, they're about 80%, as I said on the chat. They don't necessarily give you a lot of information, but they give you enough. They warrant a full star on the communication. The price to ship and the price of the items, absolutely a full star. Variety, they definitely get a 1/2 star for variety, but they do not get the other half of the star for presentation. The show moves too quickly. They don't, they just don't take the time to give you enough information. And depending on who's behind the camera, because they do rotate like every 2 hours or so, they change the presenter. They don't give you sometimes enough of a view, enough of size information. They don't give you any weight information. Sometimes it almost seems like they're guessing at what the stone is that they're showing you. So I deducted a 1/2 star for that. When you're spending this kind of money, on crystals, you want to know what you're getting. If you're experienced and you've had crystals and you know crystals, you can tell by what they're showing you, by what the stone is. You can pretty much estimate what this weighs, how big it is, and by looking at it, you can tell the quality of the stone. Are you getting a quality item? How is it polished? How is it cut? Is there any damages to it? You can pretty much see that, but they pretty much don't talk about it. It's not a show and tell. It's just a show and sell. So I deducted a half star for that. Seller attitude, they're pleasant. When they do interact with you, they're to the point. I would not say they're curt. They're just to the point. I asked for aquamarine. They're like, nope, already sold out. Not today, but check back with us. We may get more in. That's fine. I don't need any more information than that. It's not like they're saying, no, I don't have any. So their attitude is fine. They get a full star. So they only lost a half star for their presentation. But again, I'm going to presume that they do it that way because they are assuming that everybody that's shopping there knows their crystals, knows what they're looking at, and they're just not going to go through that. So if you're a novice crystal hunter, this is not the shop for you. If you know what you're looking for, you have a little bit of, I don't want to say background, but either you've had crystals or you've had somebody guide you. If there's somebody who knows more about crystals and you want something, then have that person help you bid for those crystals. Have that person tell you exactly what you should look for and what you should or should not bid on. Get a little help from your friends, so to speak. So 4.5 stars for CrystalClear. Came in a nice little priority box. Shipping was good. I like the store. Will I be back? Yes, I will. I don't know when, but hopefully you've read the information that I put up about the crystals. I will also put the information down in the description box so that if you missed it up on the screen, you can read a little bit about each crystal at your leisure going into the description box. Okay? Okay. So we are at just about an hour, guys. I think that's where I'm going to leave it at this point. I'm not going to get into going well, you know what? What the heck? What's another 5 minutes, right? Let's do touch base with just a little bit about what's been going on just around the corner. All right. So what did I do? Well, I worked in the kitchen more than I was planning on. I did get the door pull on my big, long, odd shaped cabinet in the kitchen. So it has that leather strap on it. And I did get that pull out metal drawer mounted to the shelf that I built so that I can pull it out. All my silicone bakeware is in that little container, in that slide drawer. So now I don't have to bend down, dig in the back. I can just stand up straight, pull the rack out, pull out what I need. Perfect. So there's a picture for you. So I got that done. I worked on the pantry. That was a little bit bigger job than I thought it was going to be. I pulled probably 50% of the stuff out of the pantry. Had my countertops covered. Thank the Lord, I have a good amount of counter space in the kitchen. I pulled it out, so I'm going to put some pictures up. I have the food shelf where I keep primarily my canned food, my box foods. And here's a before picture. Here's an after picture. I still have a lot of room. You can't see it because of the spinny thing, but behind that, I have a big gap of space where I can store extra things that I don't use all that often, and I can just reach behind to get them. Hiding back behind there is like my refill for my coffee, my refill for my sugar, my refill for my creamers. That's all hiding away in the back. But I got the food storage shelf done. Then I'm not showing you the very floor because the floor is still reserved for the dog. Everything that I had for Levi, all the leftover canned food, the unopened treats and things, everything dog related is down on the floor in the bottom, ready for the next animal. Nothing in there is going to expire by the time I get another one. And I know it will only be a matter of weeks to months, couple of months before I do have another four-legger in the house. So I didn't touch anything on the bottom. The first shelf up from the bottom was an absolute disaster. Rearranged all that. Here's the before picture. Here's the after picture. And as you can see, I took the lid organizer, and not only did I organize all my lids in it, I was also able to put my reusable storage bags and my air fryer liners organized in that thing. So everything is easy to grab. It tucks off to the side out of the way, and I still have plenty of space to put more things in there. You can even see that I've got my new little small appliances in there. I've got my sandwich maker, I've got my waffle slash pancake maker in there, and I've got my toaster, and they all tuck nicely off to one side. So a lot more space, a lot less cluttered. And then the very top shelf that I did, I got that reorganized, and I put the bigger things up there that I only use on occasion when we have like a community event or something. So I've got those up in the back. I've got my storage things like my Ziploc bags. I've got my measuring cups and whatnot on the side. I still have a lot of space left up there as compared to how it was. And I hung up my strainers. I put them on little hooks to get them up and out of the way to give me more space. So I've got my two collapsible strainers. I've got the bigger one and the medium size one. I've got those next to each other on a hook, and then over on the other wall, I've got my small, what I call my pot strainer, which is for like when I'm just using like a soup pot or something very, very small, like maybe making a little batch of noodles. I've got that hanging on the other side. So I'm making use of the vertical space in there. And I will eventually put another shelf in the front corner on the right-hand side. So again, I can add other things up on that shelf. As long as I can reach things without having to get up on a stool, I really, especially as I get older, I don't want to have to get on stools for things because that becomes hazardous as we age. I'm not at that point yet. I'm still climbing ladders and walking the roof, but eventually will change, right? So I am making sure that everything is within arm's reach, or at best tippy toe reach. So I got that all done. And then of course a lot of cleaning. I did get rid of some things. I don't even know how it happened, but I had some lids, Tupperware lids and no bottoms to go with it, which I thought when I moved I had everything paired up. Apparently not. I had some extra storage containers, which I am giving to the dog sitter. She's just moving into a new place, and I offered them to her. So she's going to come and pick those up. So I'm kind of reorganizing what I had initially organized. My countertops now are a lot more open, and I don't have so much stuff on them. Much, much more space, which kind of feels good to get that reorganized, right? All right. And then the last thing I'm going to show you, kind of a bittersweet thing to me, is I got Levi up with his sister. And so Levi and Sadie are reunited here at home, up on the top of the cabinet where I can look up and know my babies are there. My memories are up there. Their memory boxes are there. And I know wherever they are in the on the next plane, in the next big grassy field, that they're up there romping around with their predecessors, watching over me. So I got that done. And I will admit, I stood on the counter because I had to stand on the counter to get up there. But I stood on the counter and just kind of held them for a few minutes and cried. And I still cry every day, sometimes several times a day. Less and less, a little bit each day, but the tears still come, and they're probably going to come for quite some time. I'm a softie. What can I say? I do have my hard side. Trust me, I can be a big itch when I need to. I can be very in your face and blunt, and a lot of people will find me intimidating. But when it comes to those I love, whether it's you, Mama, my pets, my friends, those that are deeply embedded in my heart, I feel the hurt. When it hurts, I feel the hurt. So that's it. We're done. I got to stop now before you know what starts to happen. All right. That was Temu. That was one revisited shop at Whatnot, NVUSDeals. And that was a new shop at Whatnot, Crystal Clear. So you're getting a little bit more exposure. My next video, I have a massive, and I'm talking probably 24 item order from SuperBuys that I will be reviewing in my next video, which might actually be done later today. Depends on how I feel. But if you enjoyed this, seeing the products, seeing me, by all means, thumbs up, share it. And if you are not already subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. As one of my regular viewers indicated, and I'm just going to call her out, we're just going to say McHyde. As well as she indicated, she's like, come on, neighbors, let's get Konnee to 4,000 subscribers. Well, you know, we're so close, we can taste it, guys. So if everybody is watching this, hits that subscribe button, please know you're helping this channel grow without any obligations. You don't ever have to watch what I put out. You don't ever have to contribute. There's no financial responsibility to subscribing, but it helps the channel grow to have more subscribers. It helps me with monetization so that I can bring you more products. Everything I show you from Whatnot, yes, I'm picking things for me, but I am choosing things that you too can find on Whatnot at these amazing prices. You may actually get better deals than I do, depending on where you shop at Whatnot. So I'm going to continue to bring you more shops, new shops, and the community guy is out there blowing the lawn, so his timing is perfect. So guys, remember, stay hydrated. Above all else, please stay sweet. And I will see you very soon with more whatever. Bye.